Hey Liz, the legal team for the Sterling family in court today fighting for a settlement and more information on Officer Blaine's salamony and his role in the death of Alton Sterling. There was no settlement, but the legal team for the Sterling family is claiming a small victory after Judge Mike Caldwell orders the city to release Officer Salamony's pre-employment psych exam.
That psychological exam is going to show what the chief has been saying, is that Salamony should have never been a cop. He said it's well documented that his antics over the years put him not only endangering citizens, but endangering other police officers.
This order is on hold pending appeals by Salamony's attorneys.
For filing this complaint.
In the press conference held today by Michael Adams and Chris Stewart, lawyers for the Sterling family announced that the city was unable to provide any emails or text from former Chief DeBody or others from the 5 months after Sterling was shot.
We find that impossible, that no emails or texts or anything
For 4 months.
were sent after this massively viral national situation happened.
Perhaps the biggest news out of today's proceedings, an EMS report from 2014.
In this incident report that we got, you'll see that Officer Salamony was on scene when an EMS worker and all of her team were turned away from trying to save a young man's life.
In the report from October of 2014, EMS responded to a shooting on North 49th Street. When EMS arrived, the fire department was leaving the scene because, quote, BRPD told them the patient was deceased and they did not need them, end quote. A paramedic goes to check out the victim and finds that he is still alive. The paramedics begin CPR but later stopped. In the paramedics' formal complaint against Salamony, it states that as she was examining the scene for her report, Officer Salamony began yelling, quote, stop touching the patient, end quote. According to the report, Salamony continued yelling at the paramedic, who responded to him that, quote, he's out here treating the victim like a common thug, a dog, and me, an N-word, end quote. A sergeant reportedly had to separate Salamony and the paramedic. In the report, the paramedic said Salamony was, quote, rude, demeaning, unprofessional, and provoking, seemed disturbed, assumingly because stabilization and resuscitative efforts were decided. He displayed no regard for the human being lying dying on the roadway, end quote.
This is who supporters of Officer Salamony are defending. This is Officer Salamony.
Salamony did defend his actions in a letter saying he told the paramedic, quote, no more, okay, end quote, after she repeatedly touched the body. He claims that the paramedic, not him, became irate. He told her that, quote, she had to get away from the body and stay away from the scene because she was standing in a crime scene, end quote. At the end of his letter, he stated, quote, I feel that if I do not bring this matter to your attention, it is probable a similar situation will occur again with other officers and this female paramedic, end quote. As far as the settlement goes, the attorneys for Sterling's family say Metro Council is to blame for failing to negotiate an agreement in the civil suit and that certain members are holding out